What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Got Next podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Baldwin, my co-host, Dono.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Of course, we got Bennet back with us for another episode of some fantasy football. So, what you want to talk about, B?
Oh, man, we got a lot to get to. We got to pick our Week 15 games, go over how we've done over the last 2 weeks to update the people on our standings. And, yeah, man, it's final quarter of the season, final quarter of the 2021 season before the playoffs. So we got a lot to get to.
Absolutely. And I forgot we were doing predictions and all that because my mind's so set on fantasy football. My fantasy football playoffs will start this week. So good luck to everybody out there if your fantasy football playoffs start this week. And sorry we didn't get an episode out to y'all last week. I was feeling a little bit under the weather, but I'm much better right now. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that type of stuff. And let's get into some Week 15 action.
Yo, turn it up, Slack. I can't hear nothing.
As we sit today, it's a new top dog in the house, man. Bennet Bones Nadash has run the table these last 3 weeks. And he is actually in the lead with 130 wins. And coming in second, Mitchell Baldwin. Baldwin is sitting right here with 128 wins. I unfortunately lost my top dog position. I am bottom boot right now. I have 127 wins, but it is the stretch run of the season, so these games are critical here. Critical. Separates the men from the boys. So y'all about to see, what's really going on and who's going to come through, but keep picking and stay tuned.
Absolutely. B, let's get into Week 15, man. I'm kind of excited to talk about this. We're getting down to the nitty gritty of the season, bro. I'm excited.
Yep, and no better game to start to kick off Week 15 or Week 15 action than our Thursday night football matchup. The Chiefs at the Chargers. Will the Chiefs get their revenge from their Week 3 home loss to the Chargers, or will the Chargers sweep them and be in a tie, or actually have the tiebreaker of the Chiefs for first place of the AFC West? If the Chiefs win this game, they pretty much, all but lock up the AFC West. But if the Chargers win, they swept the Chiefs, and there's 3 more games moving forward. So I'm going to start this and pick the Chiefs. I just do not see them being swept by the Chargers, and they look hot right now. The Chargers look inconsistent, even though, Justin Herbert's having a great year. I got to roll with the Chiefs, the team I know and the team I've seen win this late in the year over the last few years.
Yeah, a few weeks back, I said the Chiefs won't lose another game this season, so I'm sticking with that. I just don't think the Chargers still don't have what it takes to prove it in prime time, and the Chiefs want revenge for that game earlier this season, which was in Kansas City. And it's actually the Chiefs' defense that's been carrying them recently, so I think the offenses do a bounce-back game. I like the Chiefs.
I definitely like the Chiefs right now. I think it's kind of crazy how slow they started, and now they're about to end up at the top of their division still at the end of the year. It's kind of cool. I think that they're really starting to all come together right now. Their offense looks as good as their defense, which we couldn't say earlier in the year. Their defense looks like it's back to what we're used to it being. And yeah, man, I'm gonna have to rock with the Chiefs. Of course, they got a lot of weapons on that offense, and if their defense is playing at a high level, then I don't know how you can stop them really. And they've been putting up some high point totals recently, so they're definitely hot right now. And I can't go with anybody other than the Chiefs, man.
All right, now this week we have some Saturday football action. We got 2 matchups. And the first of the 2 is the Raiders at the Browns. The Raiders sit at 6-7, way outside looking in, and the Browns are 7-6, 1 game behind the Ravens for first place of the AFC North, tied with the Bengals for second. Unfortunately, the Browns have been hit by many cases of COVID over the last couple of days, and today COVID struck their head coach, Stefanski, and Baker Mayfield. And I do not think, even if they are vaccinated, I don't think in the timetable they'd be able to have 2 negative tests by Saturday. So I think it's highly unlikely you see a lot of starters on the Browns. Jarvis Landry, Baker, and without your head coach, I mean, that's problematic too, even though they had the same thing happen to them right before the playoff game against the Steelers last year, and they still whooped the Steelers' butts in that first game. But the Steelers were on a downhill slope. It's besides the point. But I am going to go with the Raiders here, just because they've just been so inconsistent this year. Like, the Raiders just never do what you think they're going to do. And I think conventional wisdom would say they're going to lose this game until all these cases came out for the Browns. But I know, like, Cleveland's kind of out of their environment weather-wise this late in the year and things like that. But give me Derek Carr over, I guess, Case Keenum in this game. I could be wrong. I still think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Yeah, when you don't expect the Raiders to win, they normally win. And until you told me that, I actually did not expect the Raiders to win. So I'm going to stick with my pick of the Raiders here. I just feel like Cleveland is too decimated by COVID. Case Keenum is a very serviceable backup. We've seen that earlier in the year, but without Jarvis Landry as well, Cleveland can still win if Myles Garrett's out. Actually, give me Cleveland. I like Cleveland. I take it back. I like Cleveland.
That was funny. You like slowly talked yourself out of that pick.
Yeah.
So they got Myles Garrett, of course, which we all know, one of the defensive player of the years. They got Case Keenum, who actually, it seems like Baker, who was like really not trying to give up that starting spot to Case Keenum, because I think he already knows how good Case Keenum is and how good he can be. And they still have Nick Chubb, who already had COVID earlier in the year, so I don't think that now is going to be a COVID issue for him. They still got Chubb, one of the best running backs in the league. And they still have Donovan Peoples-Jones, who's a really good deep threat. And actually, I think he can kind of do a little bit of some things in some like middle defenses and whatnot. So I'm gonna have to rock with the Browns, honestly, but I could definitely see the Raiders winning this game. And I don't really like the Browns particularly because I don't like Baker Mayfield, because they tried to make it seem like Odell Beckham was trash or whatever like that. It's just not the case. So, but I am gonna pick them this week, and I really think that they have enough to win this game.
Alrighty, and Saturday night football, a matchup that was, always a marquee matchup back in the day when Tom Brady and Peyton Manning played quarterbacks for these teams. They both moved on since, but it's the Patriots at the Colts. And I'm going to say, even though the faces behind center have changed for these teams, the result won't. I still think the Patriots are going to win, even though the Colts are favored by 2.5. I think, the Patriots, they're the hottest team in football right now. And even though, I don't think they're going to take home the gold this year per se, I think they continue their winning streak. I think playing in the Dome, they went from playing in, freezing Buffalo a couple weeks ago where they couldn't even throw the ball to now playing in the Dome. I just think, Bill Belichick's just going to out-execute whoever his opposing, head coach is on the other side, especially this late in the year. And, I just don't think the Colts are out of the Patriots league in terms of talent, which I think makes it a winnable game for the Patriots.
I actually like the Colts in this one. I feel like they're a more desperate team right now. Because the Patriots, I feel like they might, with Buffalo's recent losing streak, kind of have more of a stronghold in their division. The Colts actually still have a shot at not just the wild card, but their division, in my opinion. So I honestly like the Colts this week at home. I think Jonathan Taylor, he'll kind of get slowed down a little bit, but the Colts have enough weapons on the outside and solid defense. I like Indy this week.
I think this is honestly going to be a close one for me, but I am going to ultimately go with Bill Belichick and the Patriots, just because I've seen just a lot of change in them these last few weeks. I think that their defense has always been like one of the top defenses in the NFL, and Mac Jones is playing really well for a rookie quarterback, and they won last week off of just throwing 3 passes, which I thought was kind of cool. And like only Bill Belichick can come up with a game plan like that and have it still work out. So yeah, I'm gonna have to rock with the Patriots. I just love their creativity in the coaching spot, and I think that if any team can stop Jonathan Taylor right now or at least slow him down, it's the Patriots. So I'm gonna have to rock with the Patriots this week.
That's a very strong point of view. I definitely kind of agree with that. Now we're on the Sunday, the normal day of football, and to kick that off, we got the Cowboys at the Giants. Daniel Jones is definitely not playing quarterback for the Giants this weekend, and I heard Mike Glennon probably is playing quarterback for them, but either way, man, like the Cowboys aren't going to lose this game. It's an NFC East game. They've dominated the NFC East all year. That's pretty much why they're winning the NFC East. And they all but put the division away with a win like this weekend. So give me the Cowboys.
Yeah, I like Dallas this week. The Giants are a bad team. They've had a bad season, and they can only get worse from here. I like the Cowboys.
I too like the Cowboys, of course, and I think the Giants are probably one of the worst teams in the NFC East, which is saying a lot. Honestly, I think the Eagles might be better than them at this point, and Giants just are trash. So no way you can rock with the Giants here. I have to rock with the Cowboys. And yeah, man, Cowboys, let's get it.
Next, we got the Titans at the Steelers. The Titans are getting players back slowly, getting a little more healthy. They got Julio back last week. The Steelers took it tough to the Vikings last Thursday after upsetting the Ravens the week before. This obviously, I think, going to be a very, very close game. But I'm going to go with the Steelers because I think, it's a must-win for them. It's more important to them than it is to the Titans. Not saying the Steelers have what it takes to go on a run late in the year, but I think having a home game in Week 15 against a team that's not fully healthy. The Steelers are getting a lot of their players back this week, including, TJ Watt, most likely Joe Hayden as well. I think someone else on the line they're getting back. I just think, they're primed to execute and take home the dub this week. So I got the Steelers in a close battle.
Yeah, I like the Steelers this week as well. Derrick Henry's hurt, but the Steelers also have a number 22 as well that plays running back. Najee Harris is a really good player. He does it all for them. So I like the Steelers this week. I just feel like they're the more desperate team, like I said earlier, with the Colts, and they're also a well-coached team. So I like Pittsburgh this week to beat the Titans in a close one.
I too am gonna rock with the Steelers this week. The Titans have let me down on multiple occasions this year. Not only just as a team, but Julio Jones and himself specifically has been trash this year. He's played in just 7 games, and as the number 1 receiver last week without AJ Brown playing, he got 6 targets and 4 receptions for 33 yards. That is horrible, and he's only gone over double digits in fantasy once this year. So, yep, can't really rock with the Titans. Of course, they're down Derrick Henry, of course, so it's not like they have anybody like really doing anything super special on that team. So, and then Tannehill is middle of the pack. So, yeah, I have to rock with the Steelers, and I think they're gonna get the dub this week.
Alrighty, next we got the Panthers at the Bills. The Bills desperately need to win this game, so I'm going to go with them. They took the Bucs to overtime last week. They showed some heart. I know they've been struggling this year, but they're fighting, to make the playoffs at this point, which they did not expect to be the case for them early in the year. So I think they're going to have a strong last quarter of the season, and they're not going to lose to a team like the Panthers, especially at home. So give me the Bills.
Yeah, I feel like the Bills are pretty much in emergency mode now. They need to win at least 3 out of their last 4 games. I think this is almost a must-win for them, and I think they will win. I'm not really sure if the Panthers have won a game since they started Cam Newton back at quarterback. So I think that trend just continues this week. I like the Bills at home.
I think the Panthers won their first game with him back at home, and then after that, it's been pretty garbage. He did not play well last week. Let me tell you that. I'm pretty sure it was 5 for 21 with like 2 interceptions, man. So I don't see how the Bills can really lose to a team that's probably going to beat themselves at the end of the day. So I'm going to rock with the Bills.
That's a good way to put it. Next, we got the Cardinals at the Lions. I think we all are in agreement on this, but I must say that DeAndre Hopkins is out for the rest of the regular season, so that could be tough for the Cardinals and when they face the Colts and the Cowboys over the next 2 weeks following this game. But nevertheless, they're playing the Lions this week. Come on, man. Ask me the next question.
All I'm gonna say for this one is damn you, D-Hop. Needed you for fantasy, and you're not gonna be there for me. So, next game.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Next, we got the Jets and the team on a 6-game winning streak after starting 1-7. The 6-7 now Miami Dolphins, and I think they get the 7-7 after beating the Jets this week.
I like the Dolphins. Their defense is playing outstanding. Tua's playing pretty decent. And Jalen Waddle's having an excellent season as well. He's been pretty much under the radar, if you ask me. More rookies like Mac Jones and Jamar Chase deservingly getting that praise. But Jalen Waddle's having a good season. I like the Dolphins here.
Jalen Waddle's actually having an exceptional season. I don't think it really gets talked about enough. I think he's one of the best receivers out of that class, like I thought he would be. And, Mike Gesicki's doing his thing. Tua is doing his thing as well. I think, who's their running back? Is that Devontae Parker?
Gaskin.
Myles Gaskin, that's who it is. Yeah. Myles Gaskin's been pretty good. He started out kind of slow, but he's doing a lot better these recent weeks. And, yeah, man, like I've said before, I think that the Dolphins are just a quarterback away from being a really good team in the NFL. And they're going to win some games. They're going to lose some games, but definitely don't see them losing to the Jets. So I'm going to have to rock with the Dolphins.
Yeah.
All right, next, the most highly anticipated matchup game of the week: the Texans at the Jaguars. Y'all were wondering what I was about to say when I said that. More like the battle for the number one pick within the same division. God, I just can't even. I'm gonna go with the Texans because I just don't believe in Jacksonville. I think they've all given up on Urban Meyer. He's regressed Trevor Lawrence, if anything. I mean, obviously I knew it would be a tough rookie year for Trevor, but this man was supposed to, bring some of his, knowledge from college and translate it into the pros. I mean, but he's just been an embarrassment as their head coach, and he will not be their head coach. Maybe he might not make it for the rest of the regular season, but certainly not going to make it past this season. So hopefully, Trevor Lawrence can revive himself with a new head coach next year, because it won't be Urban Meyer. But give me the Texans, even though they're just as bad.
Completely off track, but I think the Jaguars should go after Byron Leftwich as their next head coach. But I like the this is the toilet bowl, literally.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Give me the Jaguars, even though they don't really like their coach. I just feel like they're the more. If I had to choose a more talented team between them and the Texans, I'm picking the Jaguars if I had to, because they got James Robinson, Trevor Lawrence is pretty solid, Marvin Jones is no slouch, Josh Allen is pretty decent. I'll take the Jaguars in this one. I mean, some guys still have pride out there. I think the Jaguars have a little more pride than the Texans.
I'm gonna actually rock with the Texans here. The Jaguars have just been horrible, and like B was saying, Urban Meyer's not going to be there next year, but I definitely don't see him getting fired before the regular season's over, because it's like, who's going to come in there and really turn anything around with like 2-3 games left? Like, it's like at this point, you guys are as fast as you're going to be. So I hope they let him rock out for the rest of the year, at least be on the sidelines or whatever. But I'm gonna have to rock with the Texans.
And then for our final 1:00 game, we got the highly anticipated NFC East matchup, a battle for second place between the Washington football team and the Philadelphia Eagles. Game is played in Philly. And, I find this to be a little disrespectful. The Eagles are favored by so much. They're favored by 7. I know Washington's down a few men on the line and COVID and things of that nature. This is just one of those matchups where I'm going to pick the home team. When they play in Washington in a couple of weeks, I'm probably going to pick Washington to beat them. But I'll go with the home team in this case, which is the Eagles right now. So yeah, give me the Eagles.
Yeah, honestly, we played Dallas tough last week. A lot of mistakes ultimately was, I feel like, led to our L in that game, but we're decimated by COVID and injuries right now. So it's tough for me to not pick the Eagles, and they're coming off a bye week as well, so they're going to be rested. I don't really think any of their main players have COVID. That's also a factor here. So I like Philly this week.
I might sound crazy for saying this. I'm going to rock with the football team. Even though that they lost last week to the Cowboys, we, as the Cowboys, we shit the bed, bro. Up 24-0 at halftime, and we let them come all the way back, and for us to only score 3 points in the second half is sad. It's very sad, and there shouldn't have even been a chance in that game. We should have scored at least 20 more points on their head. And the football team, man, while they might lose some games, they do fight. They fight really hard, and I think that if they're going to fight hard and come back against any team, it's probably going to be the Eagles. Because I mean, while they have good weapons, they don't have anything. I don't think it's insurmountable, anything that's unbeatable. So I'm gonna have to rock with the football team here, and then I think that they're going to try and just be hungry for the rest of the season going on. And I know that we play them next week as well, so they're going to be motivated for that game as well. So I'm gonna rock with the football team. I do think that if anybody has a chance here to still make the playoffs in the NFC East, it's the football team. So I'm gonna rock with them.
Credit to Ron Rivera. Both his years with the Washington football team, they just did not even look like a football team for the first 9 weeks of the season, and they've gone on second half surges both years. Unfortunately, last year towards the very end of the year, they struggled and ended up with a losing record because of that, but they still were able to win their division. Kind of feeling the same right now based on their loss to Dallas last week, but hopefully, they look like they're in contention to get a wild card position as long as they stay above the Vikings. So hopefully, they can get back on track and fight to get in the playoffs. Now on to our 4:00 games. First one is the Falcons at the 49ers. Not many people might know this, but the Falcons are actually 6-7. The Niners are 7-6. So like if the Falcons win this game, they could get a wild card too. I know Washington's got a tiebreaker over them. The Eagles got a tiebreaker over them. But nevertheless, the Falcons kind of sneakily gotten, the point where they're closing in on 500. But on the flip side, I do think the Niners are going to win this game. They are at home. They showed a lot of poise and resilience in that win against the Bengals last week. Not overly impressed with them, obviously, but I do think they're a little better than the Falcons, so give me the Niners.
I like the Niners this week. The Falcons, one of their weaknesses is their defense, but more specifically their run defense. So San Francisco's strength is their running offense. And George Kittle's been surging these last few weeks as well. After starting out the year kind of hurt, he's really picked it up these last few weeks. So I think Kittle and the run game will lead the 49ers to victory this week.
Yeah, I'm going to rock with the 49ers this week. While the Falcons are 6-7, I don't think that they're as good as their record kind of says that they are. Especially last week, I think that they definitely should have lost to the Panthers. And then it just happened that Cam had a really bad game, and it kind of gave them the game at the end of the day. So I am going to rock with the 49ers here.
Now, on to the next game, the battle between 2 7-6 teams. We're fighting for, wild card, possibly division contention for the Bengals. Bengals are going to Denver to play the Broncos. I'm actually going to go with the Bengals in this one. I do think, the Bengals are that type of team. They go on little win streaks and losing streaks, win streaks and losing streaks, and I think it's time for them to get back in the win column this week. I do think, Joe Burrow is better than Teddy Bridgewater. I do think, he'll have a bigger game, and the Broncos are just so inconsistent as well. But I do think the Bengals are a slightly better team, so give me the Bengals.
Yeah, I think the Bengals will win this week. They just need this game more. And like you said, Denver's been pretty inconsistent. Teddy Bridgewater's kind of been up and down. I feel like Denver was playing understandably so with more emotion last week, due to the untimely passing of Demaryius Thomas. So I think they were just charged up, and that was a real emotional game for them. But I like the Bengals this week to beat the Broncos.
Oh, man, this is actually kind of difficult for me. I'm going to go with the Broncos, actually. Might be a little shocking here. Just because, like Dono said, I think they're coming off the Demaryius Thomas situation. I think they're going to be a little bit more motivated to perform these last few weeks. And while the Broncos are very inconsistent, I think the Bengals are also very inconsistent as well. And it's kind of hard to get a feel for kind of each of these teams. And I think the games that we expect the Bengals to win, they never really go out and win those. So I'm gonna rock with the Broncos this week. It's kind of just, I don't know, weird pick.
All right, now on to the 425 games. We got the Seahawks going to LA to play the COVID-infested Rams. However, I think a lot of those players will be off the COVID list, like Jalen Ramsey, possibly Odell, not sure. But I do remember a couple weeks ago, the Seahawks lost to the Cardinals at home without Murray and Hopkins. The Seahawks don't get fooled, even that they won their last 2 games. They're not that good of a team. And I do think even though if the Rams are down a few men, I think the Rams will beat the Seahawks. I know it's a division game, anything can happen, but Sean McVay, ever since he's been head coach of the Rams, has absolutely owned the Seahawks. And, Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson are running out of a little steam in Seattle. And I think, Sean McVay will give him the boot this week, and the Rams will win.
Yeah, I think the Rams still have a legitimate shot at the 1 seed. And Aaron Donald's just been playing. We saw his game Monday night, but he's playing at peak Aaron Donald form, normal Aaron Donald that he does in a year out. I think Von Miller is also starting to catch his stride as well. And one of the Seahawks' weaknesses, besides their defense, is their offensive line. Russell Wilson never really has a bunch of time in the pocket, and the Rams have 2 of the best pass rushers we've seen in our generation, honestly, with Von Miller and Aaron Donald. So I like the Rams to continue winning this week.
I do like the Rams, despite them not having Ramsey, or maybe not having Ramsey. I think Ramsey will be back this week, but Odell, he just got put on the COVID list like on Tuesday.
Yesterday.
Yeah, so I definitely don't see him playing this Sunday, which again messes up my fantasy team. I don't have D-Hop or Odell. It's going to be a rough week this first week in the playoffs, but hopefully we can pull something out. I am going to rock with the Rams here. They're just the better team, and that's even without Odell and Ramsey.
Alrighty, there might be a clear better team in this next matchup too, especially with the void at QB for the Ravens, but the Packers are going to Baltimore to play the Ravens. Lamar is probably going to be a game-time decision. They probably are going to push him to play if he's healthy enough because it's a low ankle sprain. But I feel like Lamar with an ankle sprain can't be himself. You know what I'm saying? He's restricted to almost being a pocket passer, even though he might be able to run, vertically. He won't be able to do the cuts and stuff. But even if he was healthy, I would go with the Packers in this game. The Ravens are just too injured on defense, and Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are both, making it really difficult to decide who's the league MVP out of the two of them. But I mean, it might be Aaron Rodgers by the end of this game because the Ravens just do not have a defense to match him right now. No Marlon Humphrey, no Marcus Peters, and he's thrown to Devontae Adams. I mean, they should just have a fest in Baltimore this week. This game, the Ravens almost always compete, so I got to give them their credit where credit is due. But if this game is played, if both teams play equally hard, this game should not be close. The Packers will win this game.
Yeah, the Ravens have just been killed by injuries this year. I feel like if they had their healthy roster, this could be their shot to win the AFC and really go far in the playoffs. But injuries are a part of football. They know what they signed up for. I like the Packers this week. The Ravens are always going to play tough. I don't really see them as a team that ever gets blown out. But
pride.
The Packers just have too much. I feel like they really want to get that one seed, get home field throughout the playoffs, and a bye. So I like the Packers this week.
I'm also gonna go with the Packers this week. I think if Lamar is a game time decision, that kind of tells you where he's at health wise. I think he's not gonna be 100%. So it's gonna take probably 150% for him to beat Aaron Rodgers at this point. So I'm gonna rock with Aaron Rodgers, bro. The Bucs play the Saints, and then the Packers play the Ravens. So I think those are both winnable games where I think both quarterbacks can show that they are alphas in the league, basically, and show why they should be MVP this season. So it's gonna be a good week for both of them. I think both of them get an easy dub this week.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's our Sunday night matchup: the Saints and the Bucs. Obviously, the Saints beat the Bucs about 2 months ago or a month and a half ago. I do not think they're gonna let the Saints sweep them. Give me the Bucs.
I like them well.
Yeah, I like the Bucs.
And then finally, Monday Night Football, the Vikings, the 6-7 Vikings at the 4-9 Bears. I'm gonna go with the Vikings just because they better win this game if they want even a chance at getting that 7 seed in the NFC. They're gonna have to beat a team like Chicago. And I know Kirk Cousins hasn't done well against Chicago since he's been the Vikings quarterback, but I mean they kind of got him win this game. Like, for Christ's sakes, the Bears just do not have a team this year.
I honestly like the Bears in this one. Being a Washington fan, you know about Kirk Cousins in primetime. He just always finds a way to not get the job done. And the Vikings are pushing for the playoffs, and they're in primetime. That's two things Kirk Cousins will not come through for you. I know firsthand, bro. I like the Bears this week.
I think that you have some vendetta against Kirk Cousins, which we've talked about a few weeks here.
I just have facts. I have facts against this man. I have years against this man. I know what he's about. He's not going to come through.
Like, you watched how he almost gave the game away last Thursday. Like, he just doesn't show up in the fourth quarter. But luckily, I don't think he has a very talented opposition here that can put up a lot of points. So
that's what I was about.
As long as he's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely more about the weapons around him than it is about Kirk Cousins, especially this week against the Bears. I've actually picked the Vikings the last 2 weeks, and I've been right. So the Vikings have been pretty good. And Justin Jefferson, man, he's in mid-season form right now. He is wide receiver number 2 in the entire fantasy league. I got to rock with the Vikings, man. And then Dalvin Cook is back, of course, and he had a really good showing as well last week. So I'm going to have to rock with the Vikings this week. Good luck in everybody's fantasy playoffs, man. It's an uphill battle for me right now, but I hope it's not the same for you guys. And that's going to do it for this edition of the Got Next podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that type of stuff. And show the Cowboys some love, man, because I think it's our year. Absolutely. Peace. We'll see you all next.